Democrat leader threatens Republicans. Don't make me expose you. Really? All right, let's jump into this immediately. This is a suggestion via Discord, guys. Let's see where this takes us.
Well, in another cringy video, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries threatens Tennessee Republican Andy Ogles for pushing Democrats to be stripped of their committee assignments after their shameful display during Trump's speech.
But why not?
These people are malignant clowns.
Okay.
Andy Ogles is a fraud. A complete and total fraud.
All right.
You aren't throwing anyone off of any committee in the House of Representatives. Don't make me expose you to folks who don't know you.
All right. All right. So listening to what he just said here, it seems like we may have a slight miscommunication going on here. I just heard what he said here, but let's see what they think he meant by it. But here's the thing. What they did absolutely was wild. I mean, the president is speaking, but yet you didn't show any respect for the president. It's a little strange here, guys. I mean, I have no problem with the people who were holding up the signs, that said Musk steals and things like that, bro. Your First Amendment, do your thing. Just don't interrupt. I have no problem with the concept of protesting. I have the problem exclusively with the concept of interrupting or stepping in someone's way and not allowing proceedings to continue, et cetera, guys. But if you do have some information on the person you're speaking, I probably would have rather you just said it. But again, that's not really the context of this statement here. But this is the difference with the Englishes that are generally spoken in the United States of America. But let's see what they think he meant.
Well, in Democrats' attempt to be hip and cool, social media stars Congressman Eric Swalwell dropped this video and the F-bomb too.
Okay.
What a week, huh? You know how weird this week was? I went to the State of the Union, and the president didn't even speak. He just sat up in the visitors gallery like a total weirdo and let his press secretary do all the talking.
Okay.
What a week.
What?
Well, profanity seems to be the new rallying cry. Democrats are now cursing up a storm.
Somebody slap me and wake me the up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off.
Elon Musk. Elon Musk and his hackers don't know.
To think that Elon Musk or Donald Trump give a about our public schools.
It's total absolute
Trump.
I don't swear in public very well, but we have to Trump.
Wow, it sounded like Morse code there for a second with all those beeps. Jeremy, it seems to be going well, that postmortem.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they are having a hard time. And really what it is when you don't have a message and you have nothing positive to present to the American people, when you have no plan, no strategy, you just start to just think they're now just going off the reservation, just, constantly swearing and just trying to howl at the moon to try to garner some type of, resistance to what Trump is doing because they have no message. And I think that's the problem right now, is that they are lost at sea. They have realized that the vocabulary that they've used for so many decades about, identity politics and, everything's about your race and oppression and victimization, they realize that whole narrative has failed, and they don't have the language to use anymore to actually persuade Americans. So now we're just seeing them throw anything at the wall that will stick. And as we can see, it's quite embarrassing for them.
Well, you say the
moderately valid statement here.
victimization language has failed. Maybe Al Green did not catch that memo. Listen to him on his censure.
I had to sit in the back of the bus, the balcony of the movie, drink from a colored water fountain. When the speaker decided that I would be removed, and then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me, it became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination.
Oh, okay. Okay. He just wants to be a victim, it seems. A lot of coded victim language he just basically spoke here, guys. But listen, again, as I stated slightly earlier here, it's completely fine to protest. I don't think anyone really has any issue here. I'm sure there are some who just don't understand the First Amendment, but do your thing. Do not interrupt. That's exactly what you did. You interrupted. And that's the problem. That's why you deserve the censure. Everyone else kind of knew exactly time and the place. You thought you were more important than the proceedings. All right. We have decorum, and we all need to adhere to it, specifically if we are in certain places, guys. All right.
Okay, so Harris, it's invidious discrimination, except maybe it has to do with you were the only House member ever to disrupt a joint proceeding of Congress in that manner. And 10 of your colleagues in the Democratic Party voted to censure you.
I had
wild.
Representative Gooden on last hour, and he was the person who took that protest card out of the woman's hand, the liberal lawmaker who was flashing the president with, disregard and whatnot as he was walking into the chamber. And he said, I voted on that censure. So he knew exactly what was going on in both those rooms, right? Both those occasions. And he said, well, what did this representative think he was going to get? I mean, this was beyond disrespect. And it fits into the category of why they're cussing at us. They're just out of ideas. And, some of these people did go to some of those Tony liberal organizational schools that we've been talking about, those Ivy Leagues. They've got expensive education, some of them. Why are they out of words? Oh, my goodness, that's all they do is no words. I'm confounded by the fact that they've got to cuss. They really have a license on bad ideas at this point when it comes to policies. People didn't want to hear about all that stuff that they were coming about. Yeah, you can go use the same bathroom as me, and if you dress like me, you're allowed to go in. That doesn't make you a woman, but we know they can't define women. This is across the board, so the question is, who will separate out in the Democrat Party? You cannot be part of the stuff and be quality at the same time. You've got to separate out and be a quality individual. Who among you will stand?
Yes, well, Van Jones had some sanguine advice for his party. Listen to this.
Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know. No, Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare. Somebody like Donald Trump, we thought we'd at least have Hakeem Jeffries in the speaker's chair to hold him back if we didn't have Kamala in there to do the right thing. And then offending most people in the country, calling everybody sexist and racist and transphobic and every other name, and then saying, please follow us. That's not a good strategy, folks. Defending a broken status quo and offending most of the country turns out is not as popular as my party thought it was going to be.
No, it's not popular. It's not popular. And also forcing ideologies down, other people's throats. A lot of these things are just not conducive to the health of a party if you're trying to kind of garner the most amount of attention as humanly possible. It's not a thing, guys.
Harley is not wrong.
Yeah, no, he is not. And, between the election and the inauguration, there were a lot of reach across the aisle statements. I remember from Democrat Senator Tina Smith out of Minnesota. She said something like, this time around, I'm not going to jump on the crazy train and attack every single thing that Donald Trump does. So maybe she's not on that train, but there are a whole lot of Democrats that are. When you swear repeatedly like that, that doesn't equal passion. It equals disrespect. And I think it devalues the job that the certain portion of the American people have elected you to do. And when Republicans were in the opposition party, they had a lot to run on. They had a lot to message on. The border, crime, inflation, because there were issues with the border, crime, and the economy. Democrats don't quite have that yet, so all they're doing is yelling. I do have to give one Democrat some credit here, because over the weekend I listened to an episode of Gavin Newsom's podcast where he's talking to Republicans, and he interviewed Charlie Kirk, and I thought it was fantastic.
I watched that.
Yeah, he really had a very good, solid conversation. Which
you're better than me. I don't want to hear nothing this man says, but maybe I should if it turned out well.
Charlie Kirk, and even asked for advice. How should Democrats message this and that? And it is clear that he is doing this to reach a broader group of Americans. Clearly has the White House in his sights, but
bro, please. The last thing we need is California's current governor to be in the White House. The last thing we need is that.
Not to devalue or discredit what he's doing there. I mean, he's one Democrat that seems to be getting it right, talking to Republicans rather than cursing and yelling at them.
Emily, I do agree that it was very seductive to listen to him with Charlie Kirk. He's very good at kind of flipping the script. But he's the guy who called the emergency legislative session to oppose Trump. So I feel like there might be a sinister political motive here with his podcast. It's clear.
I mean, probably not. I mean, this is the thing here. A lot of people are one way specifically, to get as much attention as humanly possible. I do think that Gavin Newsom, just like every other person on earth, probably has the ability to be somewhat of an onion, let's say, guys, right? I don't think that he's honestly truthful with his statements, because I just don't know how you could be that truthful with the things that you believe, let's say, if you're running your state into the ground, guys, in terms of legislation and things like that. He may have a belief, person to person, but that's different than his outward belief.
Political motive. Yeah, I'll say this: when I first heard Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries talk about malignant clowns, I actually wasn't looking at the screen when I heard that, and I thought that it was a Republican talking about those elected Democrat officials who refuse to stand or clap for wins for America and who have been engaging in just swearing. So hilarious that he was actually it was one of them. I'll say this, that the issue with them is that they're falling flat on policy. That's why, in part, President Trump said, look, keep it up. You guys are going to become a vastly minority party if you start voting with the 10 on 90-10 issues. I paraphrase what he said. And they're flailing. I love what you said about howling at the moon, because without the talking points, it's the ones that are thoughtfully engaged and their actual thoughtful discourse are the ones that are unique, and the ones, to your point, that came out and said, I did clap, and that is something to champion. But the squeaky wheel is getting the grease. And this absolute erosion of decorum that we've seen is somehow spreading like wildfire, and the thoughtful ones are not. So their leadership needs to do a little bit more, I think, than telling them to vote against the clean CR. I think leadership needs to have a come to Jesus meeting with them about their behavior, because it's unacceptable, and they're going to see it at the next ballot box.
Yeah, and they did have a meeting Friday. It was called a come to Jesus meeting, and apparently they berated their members. So I don't know if it's working or when these.
All right, guys. Yeah, the Democrats are just not going to understand it. I would definitely say it was really great what she said here at the end. If you keep voting for the 10%, then you're going to keep getting the short end of the stick. To be honest, it's not even 10%. Okay, let's just sit here and be honest about it. A lot of the causes that they jumped behind are more like 3%. But, listen, it makes them feel good to absolutely destroy the Democrat Party and basically give a Republican a popular vote for the first time in a really long time. Okay, that they must feel terrible. Probably a lot of cursing, most likely. But all right, guys, listen, let me know in the comments what you guys think. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.